Just a few days ago, the CDC announced fully vaccinated people can get back to a sense of normalcy. But what does that mean for our local governments? We'll tell you the effect it could have on local emergency orders. Also, be careful. A man in Tampa got a rare occurrence of a COVID-19 breakthrough case after he got a vaccine. And where are all these robocalls coming from? One answer is surprising: Florida prisoners. Stay tuned for these news stories and more. Nightside 11 starts right now. Last week, the CDC announced fully vaccinated people can resume activities without wearing a mask or physically distancing, except where required by federal, state, local, tribal, or territorial laws, rules, and regulations, including local business and workplace guidance. They say if you haven't been vaccinated yet, find a vaccine. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome to Nightside at 11. I'm Nicholas Treadway. Tonight, the question that comes from the CDC's new guidance is, how is Alachua County going to handle it? Now that the CDC has announced fully vaccinated people can get back to a sense of normalcy, Alachua County Commissioner Chair Ken Cornell says the county's role is no longer about mandates. That role is now about education and facilitating so people will get out and get a vaccine.
Is really a game changer, I think, for everybody, and certainly for Alachua County. So I'm excited to actually see smiles and teeth.
All the county's mandates expired at the beginning of the month, including requiring mask wearing signage on business doors. However, Gainesville City Commissioner Adrian Hayes Santos says the city's emergency order remains in effect. This means you'll still see city employees wearing masks indoors for now.
So I think if people want things to return to 100% normal, they need to go get vaccinated. The emergency orders are something that the mayor decides on, so it's not a decision that I would make. But I still think we're still in a pandemic.
Hayes Santos says they are making plans to bring city employees back into their offices.
Moving towards opening up operations fully in the city too, not this week or next week, but I think in the coming months that'll be something that will happen.
In Newberry, they haven't followed the county's mandates, instead opting for another road. Mayor Jordan Marlowe says this CDC news is encouraging, but he doesn't foresee it changing much in the city.
So we've always been in compliance with the governor's order, which the governor here in the state of Florida has been a little more measured, a little more stable than some of the local governments have been. But Newberry has not been inordinately affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. We've tried to protect people's civil liberties and rights as well as their health.
If you are not fully vaccinated, the CDC still recommends that you wear a mask indoors and in crowded outdoor spaces. In Alachua County, I'm Nicholas Treadway, WNIC Gainesville. Now with governments and businesses starting to change regulations based on this new CDC guidance, we still remind you that COVID vaccines are not entirely foolproof. A man in Tampa found this out the hard way.
It's a phone call anyone would dread getting.
They called me and told me that they were sick and had just tested positive.
Mike Flattop experienced it firsthand. A friend he was just with tested positive for COVID-19.
I called the doctor immediately, within minutes of them getting off the phone with me, to tell him I knew I'd been exposed.
2 days after Mike spoke to his doctor, he ended up right here at TGH in the COVID unit. His doctor told him the first dose of the Pfizer vaccine may have saved his life.
It would have been worse than that. I don't know if I'd have lived.
Lucky is an understatement. His doctor says the immunity induced by the shot he had gotten 9 days prior to getting sick actually worked.
Especially when you think about an individual who's a heart patient, as you say, and anybody with any comorbidities that could put them at higher risk for disease. If the vaccine prevents it from becoming serious, we've really done the job.
Despite the protection from the vaccine, epidemiologist Dr. Jill Roberts says it's still possible for people to get sick.
Would you say that what you guys are starting to see is people saying, well, why would I get the shot if I can still catch COVID-19?
Yeah, so you have to be real careful with the messaging there to say that the chances of doing that are actually really slim.
According to the CDC, nearly all activities people stopped doing during the pandemic are safe once you get a vaccine.
We're seeing that the vaccines are working, there's a return to normalcy, and we have so much data to show how safe they really are.
Well, it's official. The Pfizer vaccine is now being administered to 12 and 15-year-olds. UF Health says kids can walk up to their clinics to get a shot as long as they're accompanied by a parent or guardian. Also beginning Monday, Alachua County Public Schools will give this vaccine opportunity to middle schoolers as well. Now looking at some reported. We're also staying on top of the Colonial Pipeline hack and there's good news for Americans directly impacted. The U.S. Energy Secretary says services at gas pumps in the U.S. should return to normal by tomorrow night at the latest. The U.S. is investigating this cyber attack. The Biden administration says that while the hackers are based in Russia, the cyber attacks have nothing to do with the Russian government. Coming up, an Israeli airstrike today targeted and destroyed a high-rise building in Gaza City that housed offices of the Associated Press and other media outlets.
The person on the other line
Also, we'll
selling
give
a
you some
gas and
inside
electric
information
bundle
about
to
the
somebody he
details
thought
concerning
was in
some of the
California.
robocalls many
So
people
you
have
can
been
save
getting.
me money on my PG&E.
This portion of tonight's newscast is sponsored by Zaxby's. Indescribably good.